Good Moxie morning. Okay, so the title of this is called Let's Have More OSM in Our Life. Because if you don't have OSM in your life, you're not growing. You're not growing in your business. You're not growing in your bank account. You're just not growing. You're not growing until you have more OSM in your life. Hi, Taylor. So let's talk about that and what that really means. OSM. Okay, so the OSM moments in our life are literally the moments that cause us to have like serious progress. And the more OSM, it's an emotion, okay? And I'll get into that in a minute. But the more OSM you feel at that moment, the faster you grow. And I'm telling you, okay, so I'll give you an example of an OSM. An OSM moment is that moment that you say to yourself, oh shit, what have I done? Why am I doing this? You forget why you're doing it. You are scared and you want to run. You want to run from the scene and you want to change your mind and you want to head back to safety. That's what an OSM moment is. And so one of my first OSM moments was speaking in front of a group. Believe it or not, one of my biggest fears was speaking in front of people. I've had people say, oh, they've heard me speak, and they say they don't believe that. Like having a baby, having a baby on my floor in my bedroom when I planned it with a midwife, was an OSM moment, oh shit. Okay, so I hope I don't get kicked off of Facebook using that language, but we have them, and those are the moments that change you. I'm telling you, you've got to have moments like that pretty much every day if you can. And when you start doing something and it gets to be a habit, or it like something good, like doing a live stream every day is what I'm right now in. I have two groups, two programs. One is called High Ticket Mastery, and one is called it's 6 weeks, and it's Rich, Bliss, and Moxie. And I'm having them do some challenging things. But, it's not meant to be like all challenging. But they are stepping out in their business with marketing. We're working on their messaging. We're working on their mindset. And so the mindset exercises that I give them prepare them to keep going through the OSM moments, okay? Those moments that go, oh my God. So me speaking on stage for the first time, even though I had spoken in front of people before, this particular time that I'm referring to was an OSM for me because I was talking about a website that I had just put up, and I was talking about something that was mine, like something that I created. And it was a bit of a larger group, and I didn't feel, even though I had put some things together, I didn't feel comfortable. I thought I was going to forget my words. I didn't know if what I had put together would be well received, right? So I was second guessing myself. I had self-doubt like crazy, and I was looking for the door. I was thinking, maybe I'll just fake being sick, right? So that is an example of an OSM. If you can get past those, whatever those are for you, and have more of those in your life and learn some of the techniques to get you through it. And by the way, another one was giving my brother's eulogy at his funeral. I was like, what the hell have I done? I was sitting there. I didn't know when exactly the minister was going to, ask me to come up. And I had it written. I'd written it the night before. And all I could think of was everything that I wrote was stupid. That's what I was thinking. How my family was going to be disappointed. What if I start crying? I hate crying in front of people. What if I completely lose it? What if I become such a mess that I just run out? All of these things were going through my mind because I had double the emotion going on, right? Because I wasn't really sure what was going to happen once I got up to the podium to give my brother's eulogy. And I was already a mess. So what I did to get myself through it is, and this really works. In fact, Eleanor Roosevelt said it, like how you get over shyness is you immerse yourself in what you're talking about. So one of the things that I did to get over the OSM moment to give my brother's eulogy was to step out of myself, meaning stop making it about me. I had to stop making it about myself. And that's what you kind of have to do. And it works. It works. So I stopped making it about me and I started making it about him. So I was doing it as a dedication to him, right? So you immerse yourself in that. You immerse yourself in the why you're doing it. You immerse yourself in your content. You immerse yourself in that and you get over yourself. So the OSM is a lot of times we're making it about ourselves and the feeling of being judged, and we're just making it about ourselves. But when we're speaking, when we're doing a live stream, when we're talking about our business is really a service for others, right? If you immerse yourself in the benefits and you immerse yourself in like the why you're doing it, you will feel that OSM dissipate, okay? And you won't feel like a deer in headlights. You won't feel like you're going to forget your words because you stop the need to be liked. You stop that, and all that junk that comes up from your past. You know, the fear of looking stupid is why people don't succeed in their business. In a lot of things, is the fear of looking stupid. The fear of, oh, people will think that I'm silly. People will go, what is she doing? She's weird, right? What is she talking about? Like all of these, it's that looking stupid, looking silly, feeling silly, all of that has to do with the success, having success or not. Like that's the difference. So you've got to be willing to possibly look silly to some people. You're not going to look silly to everyone. Okay, so are you willing to get past that OSM? And really that OSM moment is all about you and your crap. It's all about you. So you're making it about yourself. You're not making it about service. And this might even sound harsh, but I think it'll snap some of you out of it. Okay, so let's talk about some other OSMs. Tell me in the comments here if you know what I'm talking about, and what is one of the moments in your life that you would consider an oh shit moment. And did you get through it? How did you get through it? And then what did you do? We've all had them. And here's the thing. If you created a habit of resisting it, like as soon as you feel it, you pull back and you say, nope, can't do it. Then you are in a you created a habit and you've started and stopped a lot in your life, right? You've stepped out, you've been inspired by somebody, you've started to do something, and then you pulled back. And that, like I've said before, anything can be a habit. And if you created that as a habit, I want you to think about this. This is so true. Every time you did that, you killed your confidence a little bit more and a little bit more. And what you fed was that emotion of OSM, that emotion. And that is self-doubt. You're making it about yourself, and you're making it even bigger than it really is. The more you do it, the more you resist, the longer and bigger, the longer you'll feel that way and stay that way in this non-growth place, but the bigger it will seem to overcome. I guarantee it. So the longer you stay there, remember that, the longer you stay there and you stop facing those OSMs and you just like get over, you have to get over it. So if you have a business, you got to put yourself out there. Do you have to do live streams? No, you don't have to. Is it the most effective? Yes. Especially if you have a service-based business or a higher price point. Yes. Okay. Sometimes I think that people that spend a lot of time and a lot of money on SEO and you focus on that's because you're avoiding this. You're avoiding what you should be doing. So if you look at some really large companies like Richard Branson and all of his companies, he's the face of his company, right? So he's put himself out there. When you can put yourself out there and speak in front of people, you've done one of the things that 99% of people can't do, and you face that OSM moment and you have grown exponentially. And if you keep doing it, you will be one of the strongest, and by the way, one of the most inspiring. Because people need to be inspired, and it is, like, truthfully, listening to speakers, and watching people do inspiring things are probably the biggest reasons I've done some of the things that I've done in my life in terms of growth, building my business, quitting my job, feeding my kids without a salary, like starting my business, walking out, starting my business as a single mom of 3 kids, looking at me like, now what, was one of the boldest things I've ever had to do. But I became more and more confident in myself, in my sales background, right? And started realizing I can actually do this for myself, right? So every time I would hit a sales goal and they would switch up the compensation and they would switch up the commission so that I was working harder and making less, and they thought that I wasn't seeing that, I became more and more aware that, wow, I'm hitting all these goals and they're switching it up. Next time I want more of it. I want more of the pie. And so I had built my confidence up and proved to myself that I was strong enough to do it through my sales background, okay? That helped me. And in my sales background, there were a lot of OSM moments where I had to face the big dogs in a lot of situations. When I sold commercial real estate, I was one of the worst at math. I didn't think that I could do it. Like, commercial real estate there's a lot of math involved. So I would use my handy calculator, okay? So there were a lot of, I remember sitting, okay, this comes to mind too. I had an OSM moment I was selling a building, and I was selling a building for these guys, and they were just jerks. And they would give me grief every time I sat with them. I finally had another realtor give me a little pep talk, and he's like, look at all of what you've done for them. And then he gave me the amount, because we ended up closing the deal, and I sold their place. And he said, look at the amount of money that they walked away with because of you. Like, I needed him to show me that, and then I was able to say that to them, right? It's like that helped me. But there are going to be OSM moments, and the more you face them, the more confident you will become, okay? And then you will have proven yourself. If you can't seem to do that, you got to get a coach. It's one of the fastest ways to do that. So whether it's a group coaching program like my 6-week Rich Bliss and Moxie, where we work on mindset and some of these concepts, and then exercises like strategies to break through it, that support, that sisterhood is amazing. It's amazing. So it will help get you through it. But you've got to start facing it, okay, so that you can ask for what you're worth. Because really what I'm talking about is this is all self-worth. Everything I'm talking about is self-worth. So if we are afraid to look stupid, if we're afraid to look silly, and we're afraid to face those OSMs, and every time we've pulled back, right, and we've created a habit of doing so, our confidence has just been shot over and over and over and over. Okay, so I hope that made sense to you. I wanted it to be funny too, because it is funny. You've got to add some humor into it. Okay, so Taylor, someone wrote something about their OSM. When I forgot my lines in a monologue when I was in a play, I stood there in front of about 200 people staring at me. Okay, and you lived through it. That sounds actually horrible, sweetie. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. See, I think that is one of people's worst fears, and why they won't do those things, because it's like, looking silly, looking stupid, forgetting your lines. That's a pretty big one. So I fell down a flight of stairs once in a skirt. That was pretty bad. Like, I lived through it, okay? That is not necessarily a good example of an OSM. But, like, we all have moments that kill our confidence. But don't be falling down a flight of stairs was like an accident. But literally think to yourself, am I building myself up? Am I building my business up, or am I tearing it down? Because you're doing one or the other. If you're not facing the OSMs in your life, you are tearing down your business. You're tearing down your confidence, and you're not building your business. Okay, so I used Sarah Blakely as an example earlier today in my High Ticket Mastery program. I meet in there every morning, 9 a.m., to not just give them a pep talk, but we talk about actual strategy as well and what they've done, because that support and pushing them to be consistent with certain actions is a weakness for a lot of us. But, breaking through our old mindsets and the belief systems that we've had is something that you got to work on every day, okay? So having that support is so helpful. And you lived through some Facebook Lives. You do really good Facebook Lives, Taylor. And you're a performance coach, right? So she has actually, I'm referring to Taylor here that wrote a comment. Taylor is a life coach. She's an author, and she was married to an Olympic athlete, and she's worked with Olympic athletes or those that are on their way to be in the Olympics and competitive skating. And so she knows what it takes. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what level that you've worked on. It doesn't matter what level you're on. You're always going to need someone to help you get to the next, right? Because there's always going to be an OSM at every level. And whether that helps you or not, I don't say that so that it sounds discouraging, but you can create a habit around overcoming them, but you got to find what works for you, right? So just like I said, right before giving my brother's eulogy, I was freaking out. I really did think that I was going to completely break down and, have a snot cry right in front of everybody. And that's like one of my worst fears. So, I flipped it. In fact, that was probably one of the moments that I realized how well that worked. I flipped it and I didn't make it about me. So I got over the looking stupid. Okay, so what if I cry? Who cares? I'm doing this for him. This isn't about me. So think about what you do for your business or for your clients and your prospects. Like, think about why you're doing it and flip it and get over the OSM, okay? Yes, it keeps people stuck because they hide. Yes. And like I said, it grows. And a lot of women will actually, as they hide, they will, in many ways, they're staying in a place of comfort. Okay, hiding is comfortable, and so they'll tend to gain weight as well because comfort food, feelings. When you really think about emotional eating is there's a lot of emotions and different emotions that we try to comfort and make. When we're bored, when we're angry, when we're resentful. Those are all emotions that we want to comfort, and food, and women do this a lot, where we will comfort ourselves with food. And so if we're hiding and we're lonely or bored, right? Because when you're hiding, you're usually bored and lonely. And so if you are comforting that, it tends to grow, it kills your confidence and it grows your girth, okay? Like seriously, I don't mean to laugh, but think about what it's doing to you. Step out of it, get a coach, hire someone like Taylor K. Stevens that's in this little live or the comment sections, because she will help snap you out of it. So if you're interested in Rich Bliss and Moxie, we're in the second week. We're having a class today. Everything is recorded, so you would actually, if you are interested, you could still join. Message me, private message me, and we go over this in a private setting, so it's comfortable in terms of, it's safe, not comfortable. I don't let you stay in comfort, but you actually are in a safe environment where you can practice live streams, you can get some of this out, and in a supportive environment that gets it because they're going through it as well, and then completely transform your life in 6 weeks. So the reason I started it in 6 weeks, because I started it last week, which was 6 weeks to summer. So officially summer starts in 6 weeks, 5 weeks now. And there's a lot that can be done even before summer, because what a lot of people do in summer is think, it's summer. And then they don't put it in the effort. And before they know it, the fall turns around, right? It's fall, and then a year could go by and you are in the stuck place. I've seen that in areas of my life. It's like, I should be here. Why am I here? I've had people confess to me, like, they don't know what they did over the last 3 years, okay, which seemed like nothing. So you've got to start, it's because they didn't face enough OSMs. They didn't face enough of those moments. Start facing them and learn some strategies to overcome them. It's not that hard. Create a habit around it so that it actually becomes easier. And then when you get to the next level in your business, the next level in your life, you will actually know what to do, whether it be get a new coach that's on a different level, and people will be absolutely blown away by your progress and how fast that you've made that progress. People around you that have known you for years will be like, what just happened to you, right? And that is how fast it can happen, okay? Okay, have a great day, and message me if you're interested in high ticket mastery or Rich Bliss and Moxie. Bye.